that you have set apart, that we may come and bless you and worship you and praise you, that we may obey your mitzvahs. We thank you for this set apart place, O King. We thank you for those that are here, the families that are here, and the families that are represented. We ask that you would look upon our hearts, look upon our minds, that the words of our mouth and the meditation of our hearts would be acceptable in thy sight. We thank you, Master, that you have brought us here together today. We ask that you would continue to have mercy upon us as you renew them every morning. We thank you for the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. We thank you for keeping our children, Master, for keeping them all week long as they have traversed throughout this land, and you have brought them home to us safely every night. We thank you, O King, for the knowledge that you have given us, that we have your scriptures and your Torah that you have given us, that we may live righteously, for we know that righteousness is in thy Torah. We thank you, Master, for the wisdom that you have given us to discern truth. We thank you that you have taken us out of idolatry, O King, and that you have given us and set our feet on the path of righteousness that we may inherit eternal life. O Master, we thank you for all things. We thank you that you have brought us out one more time on this set-apart day, for you said that those that keep your Shabbat and shall not profane it, Master, that they shall be in a covenant with you, and that we come out of a love for you today, out of obedience to your word, Master, and out of fear for you for the whole duty of man. And you said in the word of Ecclesiastes that our whole duty is to fear you and keep all your laws and your mitzvahs, Master. So we're here out of obedience today. Master, we ask that you would heal this house, no matter if it is to cleanse it, it is to bring in, but that you would heal us, Master, for we gather today in few in number, Master, but we are strong in our faith and in our belief and in obedience to your word. So speak kind words towards us today, O King. Speak kind words towards us, because we know that your word shall not go out empty and it shall not come back void. Speak those blessings upon us, Master. We ask that you will continue to keep us until we meet here again. This is our prayer.
Shabbat shalom to everybody. Shabbat shalom. It is always good to be here in the house of the Most High. If you will bring up for me Psalms 118. Everybody get it? We are going to worship in this manner. Let us all read together. Give thanks to Yahweh, for he is good, for his grace continues forever. Now let Israel say, his grace continues forever. Now let the house of Aharon say, his grace continues forever. Now let those who fear Yahweh say, his grace continues forever. From my being hemmed in, I called on Yah. He answered and gave me more room. With Yahweh on my side, I fear nothing. What can human beings do to me? With Yahweh on my side as my help, I will look with triumph at those who hate me. It is better to take refuge in Yahweh than to trust in human beings. Better to take refuge in Yahweh than to put one's trust in princes. The nations all surround me. In the name of Yahweh, I cut them down. They surround me on every side. In the name of Yahweh, I cut them down. They surround me like bees, but were extinguished as quickly as fire and thorns. In the name of Yahweh, I cut them down. You pushed me hard to make me fall, but Yahweh helped me. Yah is my strength and my song, and he has become my salvation. The sound of rejoicing and victory is heard in the tents of the righteous. Yahweh's right hand struck powerfully. Yahweh's right hand is raised in triumph. Yahweh's right hand struck powerfully. I will not die, no, I will live and proclaim the great deeds of Yah. Yah disciplined me severely, but did not hand me over to death. Open the gates of righteousness for me. I will enter them and thank Yah. This is the gate of Yahweh. The righteousness can enter it. I am thanking you before you answer me. You became my salvation. The very rock that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. This has come from Yahweh, and in our eyes it is amazing. This is the day that Yahweh has made, a day for us to rejoice and be glad. Please, Yahweh, save us. Please, Yahweh, rescue us. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahweh. We bless you in the house of Yahweh. Yahweh is El, and he gives us light. Join in the pilgrim festival with branches all the way to the thorns of the altar. You are my El, and I thank you. You are my El, I exalt you. Give thanks to Yahweh, for he is good, for his grace continues forever. Give praise in the house to the mighty Yah. Give praise in the house to the mighty Yah. Give praise in the house to the mighty Yahweh. Without Yahweh on our side, where would I be? The construct of our life and everything that there is about us as individuals is contingent upon the relationship that we have with him. My life, everyone's life that claims this Hebraic way has to line up with the Most High. I asked you a question a few weeks ago, and we talked about the thing that is essential and important. And the one thing that is essential and important is what? The protection and the guarding of your soul. If you and I don't protect our soul, and if we don't guard our soul, then we appear before the Most High in a framework and in a causation that he deems to be wicked. I don't know about you. I don't know about you. I need to know, and I need to wake up every day and every minute of my day. I need to know beyond a reasonable doubt that Yahweh hears me when I call. No. I don't need to hope that. I need to know that. And if there becomes a time in our life when we don't know that, then we better do some soul searching. Because as the text has said, without Yah on my side, without Yah on my side, I'm in a bad, bad place. I should have taken care of something before I came up here, but if someone can get me some water, I'd appreciate it. I came in this morning, and I was here early, and Trey Beverly was reading from the book of Amos. And the prophet was describing, matter of fact, where was that? Where was that, Trey? Amos chapter 8. Let's go there for a minute. This, what I'm going to start here in Amos chapter 8, is going to blend in with Isaiah chapter number 60. What I'm going to talk about here and what we're going to talk about here is going to mesh together. And it's interesting that I came in this morning and the young Beverly was asking me about Amos. So let's read it for a minute. Here is what Yahweh Elohim showed me. There in front of me was a basket of summer fruit. He asked Amos, "What do you see?" I answered, "A basket of summer fruit." Yahweh said to me, "The end has come for my people. I will never again overlook their offenses. When that time comes, the songs in the temple will be wailings, says Yahweh Elohim. There will be many dead bodies. Everywhere silence will reign. We happen to be part of a time frame that has a continuum. It has a beginning, it has an end. The beginning is what we call the end time, or the beginning of the end. So we have the beginning of the end, but it's not the end. Within this framework of time, we have the Most High defining for us things that are going to take place in the end of time, going into redemption. So let's read on a little more. The end has come, back to there, for my people. I will never again overlook their offenses. When that time comes, the songs in the temple will be wailing. There will be many dead bodies. Everywhere silence will reign. Listen, you who swallow up the needy and destroy the poor of the land. You say, when will Rosh Chodesh be over so we can market our grain, and Shabbat so we can sell wheat? You measure the grain in a small ephah, but the silver and the heavy shekels, fixing the scales so that you can cheat, buying the needy for money and the poor for a pair of shoes, and sweeping up the refuse of the wheat you sell. That text in Amos talks about something that will take place in the end of days as we move forward. Last week, the Most High told us as for me, says Yahweh, this is my covenant with them, that's us. My spirit who rests on you, Isaiah, and my words which I put in your mouth, Yeshayahu, will not depart from my mouth or from my mouth or the children's, now or ever, says Yahweh. This piece right here, the covenant that I've made. The Most High made a covenant with our ancestors, Abraham. He spoke to Abraham, and he also spoke to Moshe. And he told Moshe that I am going to disperse this people to the four corners of the earth, right? But then the covenant was, but from that place, what will I do? I will bring them back. That's a covenant. This covenant that he made with bringing us back, Amos talking here about the condition of Israel and how he's not going to overlook our offenses, is all germane to the idea that we have to clear our mind from this thought. We have to clear our mind from the thought that the only people that are going to be redeemed are the righteous of Israel. That's not the covenant. That's not the covenant. The covenant said, I will bring them back from the four corners of the earth for wherever I have dispersed them, in whatever state of mind they are. Now, we know from Hebrew texts, it's just coming to my mind now, so I don't have the scripture text in my brain. The land will be so populated that we will ask for our borders to be what? To be expanded, because it's going to be too crowded. So we're going to ask for our borders to be expanded because there's going to be too many people in the land. Zechariah 13 or 14 tells us that of this population of people that meet the criteria of the covenant for which he says, I'm going to bring them back, okay, is going to get whittled down to 1/3. He said in Zechariah, 1/3 of you I am going to bring through the fire. That means 2/3 are out of play. And I'm going to test you. Because only the 1/3. Now hear the issue. You've heard me say this before. What's the goal? What's the goal? What's the goal? Huh? The goal is to make the day of new beginnings, which is the 8th day. That's what Zechariah is talking about. But in order to get there, we have to march through this period of redemption. We got to go through this. We have to realize, now watch this now, that the Most High El is what? Merciful, long-suffering, patient. Now I want you to think about something. If the Most High is not long-suffering and patient with us, come on, where would we be? Where would you be? But bear in mind, like I said last week, he speaks to us out of the book of Ezekiel, And this is something that you can shout about. Come on, we can get happy about this. You can shout about this. That every day when you wake up in the morning, you realize that the Most High fulfilled his word in this end of day time when he said, I will look for you myself. Come on, y'all. You should have a smile on your face. You should have a smile on your face. Why is it that out of all my family, out of everybody that I was raised with, and out of every community that I have grown up in, why is it that he came and got me? Come on, class. Come on, class. Come on, class. What? Why did he come and get me? Now, he didn't wait for the redemption. He came and got you now. Why? You ever think about that? You ever think about that? Why is it that everybody in every community that you surround yourself, you are the only one that the Most High came and got now, and brought out and opened your eyes that you might see and start preparing your soul before that great day. Come on, have you thought about it? There's a great day coming. Listen, judgment is going to befall the land. But I think it's Joel. Joel says these words. Joel says, they that call upon the name of Yahweh will be delivered. So now let's put this back in perspective. Why did he come and get you now? Why did he come and find you now? Because he knows that his judgment is coming, and inside of your spirit, when that comes, you know who to call on. And it won't be Jesus Christ. You following me? You will know whose name is going to come out of your mouth when judgment falls. Now, let's look at another part of this. The Most High exacts judgment in different phases. There are phases of time when judgment is severe and when it's more severe. We have come through phases where it's been severe, but we haven't come through the time that is spoken about in Daniel chapter 12. We haven't reached that yet. You know why we haven't reached that yet? You know why we haven't reached that yet? because the text says, when that day comes. So you and I should be rejoicing and should be happy every day that we wake up, knowing that we have become special in the eyes of the Most High El. Come on, class. Come on, class. Special. Special. You can walk in this exile knowing, oh, there's that preaching voice, knowing that you have been called out by the Most High and that you are special amongst the whole world of people. And know that nobody, what do we read in Psalms 118? What do we read? What do we read? No human being, no human being can do anything to stop or prevent what the Most High has birthed into you and given to you. Nobody. It's in text. We just read it. So now, let's look at what we got here going on. Because this right here is the goal. This is where we're trying to get to. This is where we want to wake up. We want to be in this city. Huh? Huh? It's good to know the mitzvot. It's great to know the mitzvot. But it's good to have a vision of where you're going. Isaiah chapter 60 continues the prophecy about the magnificent future that awaits the city, Jerusalem, when the magnificent city attains her ultimate glory and becomes the spiritual leader of the world. Of the world. The spiritual leader of the world. Okay, let us do what, class? Let us do what? Let us do what? Let us ascend. Let us go up where? To the city. What's going on in the city? What's going on in the city? See, we think we know what we know. But in thinking that we know what we know, we still only know a microscopic amount. And the complete revelation is not going to happen for us until we get in Jerusalem. So what are we doing? What are you doing right now? What are the questions that you're asking right now? You're asking these questions. How do I live my life in exile according to the ways of the Most High? How do I do that? How do I apply these mitzvot to my life? Not just on the Shabbat, but 7 days a week, 24/7 in the day. How do I do that? Arise, magnificent city, Jerusalem. For your light has come. The glory of Yahweh has risen over you. Although darkness covers the earth and thick darkness the peoples, on you, Jerusalem, on you, Yahweh, will arise. Over you will be seen his glory. Come on, class. Come on, y'all. Come on. Pay attention. Come on now. Come on now. In the Messianic era, when we are redeemed into the land, the city that to this very day, as you sit in your seat today, this very day, this place lies how? How does it lie? How does it lie? Desolate and fallow. It's not even a place right now that you want to look at. But in the day of redemption, the Most High says, to you, Jerusalem, your light has arisen. The glory of Yahweh has risen over you. Now watch this. When Yahweh gets ready to redeem us back into the land, that place right there will not look like it was ever destroyed. You following me? You following me? It will not look like it ever lost anything. It will be green. It will be plush. It will be fertile. Why? 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 Why is it going to be that way? Come on, why is it going to be that way? Not a trick question. What's going to be in the city besides you? Huh? The Spirit of Yahweh is going to reside in the city. You're not going to wake up to despair. You're not going to wake up to anguish. You're not going to wake up with the spirit of whatever it is. You're going to wake up because the Spirit of the Most High, arise, for the glory of Yahweh has risen over you, Jerusalem. We'll be there. Is that a better place? Now the goal is, in the meantime, until that happens, I need to walk in his mitzvot. I need to obey what he said. Verse 3. What does it say? What does it say? What's that word right there? Nations. Not just you. Hebrew Israel? The text says what? Nations will go toward your light, Jerusalem, and kings toward your shining splendor, Jerusalem. Who are these nations? Who are these nations? I tell you who they won't be. I tell you who they won't be. You know who they won't be? They will not be the nations that are associated with Gog and Magog. Now, let's define who they are. Gog and Magog make up the European nations. That means Greece is going to get left out. Rome is going to get left out. And all the places that have despised the Most High's people. But all the other nations will go toward your light, kings toward your shining splendor. Raise your eyes. Whose eyes? Jerusalem. Raise your eyes and look around. They are assembling and coming to you. Your sons are coming from far off. Your daughters are being carried on their nurses' hips. Now let's untangle that for a minute. You and I are going to be asleep in the dust. Okay? We're going to be asleep. You know that, don't you? We got 900 plus years in this day to go, or somewhat like that, to go in this end of days that started with the opening of the book of Daniel. According to my calculations, that was 1985. Do the math. We're going to be in this exile a minute. You and I going to be sleeping in the dust. So, your sons and daughters coming from afar and being carried on nurses' hips doesn't speak to us directly. It speaks to those that are not here today, that will be here when the redemption happens. Now, I know. You and I would be happy, right? If it happened now, right? Right? We'd be happy now. You'd be excited now, right? Because we would be. Star Trek has nothing on the Most High. When redemption time comes, the Most High is going to swoop us right into the city. Let me see something. What note did I write there? Verse 3. Let's go back to verse 3 for a minute. Got ahead of myself. Let's talk about these nations. While there is disparaging talk about the nation and many Hebrew teachers not wanting to associate with the nations, here Yeshayahu speaks from the heart of Yahweh that these nations that are amenable to Yahweh will be drawn toward the light and will emanate from Jerusalem. Arise, your sons and daughters are coming. Verse 5. Then you will see and be radiant. Your heart will throb and swell with delight. For the riches of the seas will be brought to you. the wealth of the nations will come to you. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about, class? We're talking about who? What? We're talking here about Jerusalem. Chapter 60 is all about Jerusalem. So Jerusalem will be radiant, heart throb and swell with delight. The riches from the seas will be brought to you. The wealth of the nations will come to you. Now, let's do a historical thing here. When Abraham traversed in the land, okay, what did he gather? He gathered wealth. Where did he get the wealth from? He got the wealth from the nations that he traversed through. When our ancestors left Mitzrayim with more wealth than you can imagine, did they work for it? Or did they get it from the nation that they were in that ruled them? Huh? Is that what happened? Now, I want you to picture in your mind what your ancestors are carrying through the desert. I want you to get this picture. Because when we get to Exodus chapter 20, forget now, the one where he meets with Moshe and he talks about building this temple, that text. When we get there, he told the people to do what? To bring him an offering, right? So they're carrying an offering with them. They're not carrying pennies. They're carrying gold, silver, onyx, precious stones. And as the text says, when they brought it all, Moshe had to tell them to what? What did he tell them? What did he tell them? Come on, what did he tell them? Stop, you brought too much. Now, we have had a teaching that has unveiled for us what the Mishkan that they built, what it cost just in materials, not the labor, just materials. Anybody remember what that number was? What was that one room? What was the price of that one? But Moray, what was it? $65 million in today's money, just material, not labor. Where did it come from? Where did it come from? Came from the nations. Now, I want you to hold this in your mind. I want you to hold something in your mind, okay? We are not supposed to be poor. We're not supposed to be poor. Give me Lamentations 5 and 7, please. We're not supposed to be poor. We're supposed to be in the land that flows with milk and honey. We're not supposed to be poor. Jeremiah, the writer, says these words. Our ancestors sinned and no longer exist, and we bear the weight of their guilt. We are ruled by slaves. There's no one to save us from their power. We're not supposed to. Johann, you're not supposed to be post-sign. You're not supposed to have to run out, try to be finding land. You're not supposed to be doing that. Most High gave us land. But our ancestors sinned, and we bear the guilt. So now, Jerusalem, in the redemptive period and the messianic period, I'm reversing your situation. And I'm saying to you, you will be radiant. Your heart will throb and swell with delight. For the riches of the seas will be brought to you. The wealth of the nations will come to you. Caravans of camels will cover your land. Young camels from Midian and Ephah, all of them coming from Seba, bringing gold and frankincense and proclaiming the praise of Yahweh, of the mighty Yah. Let's look and see. Verse 5. The riches from the sea. Sea is a reference to humanity. So the prophecy speaks about humanity bringing to Jerusalem riches and wealth. But these caravans, verse 6 and 7, speak of all races that will flock to Jerusalem bringing wealth. Caravans of camels will cover the land. Young camels from Midian and Ephah, all of them come from Seba, bringing gold and frankincense and proclaiming the praises of Yah. So where's it coming from? Well, who is Midian? Midian, in today's geographical reference, is one of the richest places on planet Earth. Where's that? How about Saudi Arabia? How about Saudi Arabia? Remember, the land, it has to come from the nations where? Back into the land. Our land is where? Our land is in the continent of Africa. So it has come from the nations back into the land. So it's coming from Siva, Midian. Ephah only happens to be the transportation. Shiva is Ethiopia. And Kedar is Jordan. Who's bringing it? Who's bringing it? Who's bringing it? The nations are bringing it. Hey, class, I'm trying to get you to understand what's happening to your place of origin and how your place of origin is going to be reestablished by the unction and by the inspiration of the Most High up on the nations, just like he did before. Now watch this now. We have to think in terms of the fact, oh, I can't do this. I won't do that. You know who does that? We have to think in this terminology. Bingham got it. We have to think in the terminology that whatever the Most High did in the past, he's going to repeat that in the future. The flocks of Kedar will be gathered for you. The rams of Nevoiot will be at your service. They will come up. Now, this thing come up and be received on my altar as I glorify my glorious house is only speaking of the offering that's going to be placed there. Not the nations, but the offering. Kedar. Kedar is one of the 12 sons of Ishmael. Now, my bad for not looking up the text that speaks about the relationship that the Most High has with Ishmael. Okay? Ishmael is not the same in the mindset of the Most High as Esau. Okay? When we think of Esau, Esau was damaging to the Hebrew people of Israel. Remember? Remember what happened when they left Mitzrayim? No, when they went into Babylonian captivity. Remember what happened? Esau was the one who was helping to destroy those who were not able to keep up. Yes. But Ishmael didn't have that spirit. So he says to us, the flocks of Ishmael will be gathered for you. The rams of Nebaioth will come in your service, and they will come up and be received on my altar. What's going to be received on his altar? The flocks. The flocks and the rams. And they will be received on my altar as I glorify my glorious house. What's the house? What's the house? The house is the temple in Jerusalem. Now we have to go to Ezekiel, latter clauses and chapters, you can find it there, where he starts talking to Ezekiel about laying out the foundation of the third temple, the magnificent temple that's going to be built. The temple is called the house. So in Jerusalem, the house is going to be rebuilt, and the offering is going to be received on his altar. Who are these flying along like clouds, like doves to their dovecotes? Who are these? This verse here, verse 8. Now, what do you see in the text that gets your attention? What do you see in the text that gets your attention? Who are these flying along like clouds, like doves to their dovecotes? What's the word in the text that should catch your attention? Anybody see it? Come on, it's not a trick question. What do you see there that should catch your attention? Flying clouds. Now, when you think about flying clouds, what comes to your mind? Swiftness. Swiftness. So who are these coming along fast like doves to their dovecotes? Now watch this. When a dove leaves his nest to go find food for his young, he does not come back slow. By nature, he makes a swift return. So he gives us this metaphor to say, who are these? Flying along like clouds, like dovecotes. The verse describes how fast, how quick the Hebrew people will be returning to the city of our roots. Now, there is a text in the Hebrew writing. I read it in, it's in a portion here of Isaiah between 40 and where I am now. And he talks about us not having to hurry. There's a difference. When our ancestors left Mitzrayim, okay, they had to do what? They had to hurry and get up out of there. But in our leaving and going to the exile, he says, you don't have to worry about anybody chasing you or anybody coming after you. What did they have to do? They had to prepare to leave in a hurry. Right? Right? Now, think about this, okay? What are we preparing to do? What are we preparing to do? We're preparing to leave, right? Do we have to hurry? No. And the reason why we don't have to hurry, because the time of our leaving is in the hands of the Most High. But your preparation time is now. Our honor in the mitzvot is now. Our preparing our soul and our position to be in a right standing with the Most High when we get in the land is now. So we don't have to hurry to do it. Watch this now. We just have to what? We have to do what? We just have to do it. I don't have to hurry to do it. I just have to do it. The coastlands. Verse 9 talks about the coastlands. The coastlands are putting their hope in me, with the Tarshish ships in the lead, to bring your children from far away, and with them silver and gold, for the sake of Yahweh your El. Coastlands is a reference to islands. Now, there's a word here, this one right here, Tarshish and ships. Give us a clue to when he's talking about coastlands, what he's talking about, okay? Because we know that Tarshish happens to be, if we look and we study the reference of Shlomo, when Shlomo was receiving the acacia trees from Tarshish, it took them almost 3 years to get there because they came by sea and they came by land, which tells us that Tarshish is far away. The coastlands are putting their hope in me with the Tarshish ships in the lead to bring your children from far away, and with them their silver and gold for the sake of Yahweh your El, the set apart one of Israel, who glorifies you, Jerusalem. So let's look at application. If he gives us a allegory or a metaphor that speaks to something in the past that happened, being far away, okay, we already know that if we're dealing with Hebrew Israel coming from the four corners of the world back to the land, we're coming from where? Far away. Don't worry about it. You'll be in the dust. Your great off into the future, grandchildren and ancestors will be a part of that gathering, and guess what they're going to be bringing with them? What's the text say they're going to bring with them? Silver and gold. What's the silver and gold for? Oh, because Ezekiel says in the day of redemption, the third temple is going to be rebuilt. So the third temple is going to need some gold and some silver. What's he doing? Exactly what he did to Israel when they left Mitzrayim, and he asked them to build him a Mishkan in the desert. They was packing. Hey, no, come on with me now, come on with me. They was packing, not a gun. I mean, I want you to get the picture of who you are. I want you to get the picture of who you come from. But Lamentation says, our ancestors sinned and we're bearing the yoke. Therefore, here we are in this exile, according to Devarim chapter number 28, beginning at 15 to 69. Here we are under the curse. And the curse cannot be lifted until the Most High starts our redemptive period. Okay. Who's building the walls? Who's building the walls? Who's building the walls? Foreigners will build your walls. Their kings will be at your service. For in my anger I struck you, but in my mercy I pitied you. And if we read back up in some earlier chapters between 40 and where I'm at now, he says, and guess what? I'm going to make an oath with you that I will never be angry with you again, nor will I bring judgment upon you again. When? Day of redemption. Right now, we got Amos going on. I'm not going to continue to just wave off your sin. I'm not going to do that. You and I have to be able to see the Most High's judgment in play. You have to be able to see it. And guess what you won't do? You won't see it until it happens. Now the question has to come to mind, has there been his judgment in the past? Did we see it? Did we see it? Did we respond to it? If we saw it, did we respond to it? Or did we act like the little eagles in the nest? Squirm around and find a comfortable place amongst the thorns that we can sit, or did we rise up and move forward and say, for Yahweh I will live, and for Yahweh I will die. And whatever you teach me, Yahweh, of your mitzvos and your commandments, I will obey and I will do. Now, we got to go back somewhere. Hold my place right here. Let me remember, I'm in verse 10. Let's go back. Let's go back. That right there. That right there. That right there has to be in play. That right there is one of the strongest texts of all texts amongst Hebrew Israel and amongst all of the mitzvot that exist that he gave us. That one right there is the one that is the strongest that you and I have to pay attention to. And you know the reason why we have to pay attention to it? Yes, we have to do it, but not only do we have to do it, because if we go back to Exodus chapter 30, he says, failure to do that and you're put to death. You are cut off from the community. Now watch this. People make decisions, and they think the decision is theirs. But the Most High has just cut you off from the community. And you don't even know he did it. You think you did it. You think, well, I just... No. The Most High caused you to be cut off from his community because you held back your foot on Shabbat. You pursued your own interest, and you did not find my day worth honoring. You don't gather on the Shabbat, and you don't honor his Shabbat when he says it. If we are in the land, you have just created an athletic day for Israel. Somebody is digging a hole, and all of Israel are gathering stones. And you're getting ready to receive capital punishment. So what are we doing right now? We're practicing so that our heart and our soul will be right in the eyes of the Most High, so that when we get in the land, guess what? Your mind will already be set. Because Amos says, in that day, when that day comes, there will be many bodies. Many bodies. So now you ask yourself a question. How does all of this mass of people that he's bringing to the land to fulfill his covenant get whittled down to 1/3? Because there's going to be some Hebrews in the land that ain't going to obey. But, watch this now. Pay attention. He's merciful. He's long-suffering. He's patient. He says, what pleasure do I find in the destruction of the wicked? I will give every human being an opportunity to get it. That's the reason why I'm bringing you back to the land, and that's the reason why I'm saying to you, and I've put in the hearts of the nations, let's go up to Jerusalem and let's learn Torah. Let's get it right. You see, when wickedness prevails amongst us, and we know it, and we do not do anything about it, then we are culpable to their action. Because he gives me another text. He said, if you see my sword coming, and you fail to warn the people, their blood will be up on you. I'm sorry, I'm not going out like that. I'm not going out for you. I'm not doing it. If we're in Jerusalem, if we're in the land, guess what? If that happens and you are breaking Torah law, I have an obligation to go to the Kohanim and tell him. Now, I'm going to say something. I appreciate More Israel in Atlanta. I appreciate him for the leadership that he has given to that congregation in this way. I wasn't there long enough to see, but I could tell from the spirit of the people that they were all on one accord and in unity with the leadership. We're going to talk, and I want to ask him a question. How do you deal with people that come into your congregation that claim to be a part of you but don't adhere to the mitzvot and walk in the mitzvot as they're supposed to? How do you deal with them? Torah law says that when people fail to function according to the teachings that the Most High has given us, you are supposed to remove that wickedness from the people. That's a hard line, isn't it? It's kind of hard, huh? So that there will not be wickedness amongst the congregation of people. So now what that says, if you could get away with it, then I can get away with it. Now we got people getting away with not doing the things of the Most High. You say, what has that got to do with this? Right here. My anger struck you. My anger struck you because you, Israel, got beside yourself and you decided that you were not going to obey me, your husband. So I struck you. But now I'm looking at you and I'm saying, I'm going to have mercy and pity on you. Not just the city of Jerusalem, but the people. Now we get back to the issue here with Jerusalem. Right now, you don't have any gates. Right now, you're desolate. The temple has not been built. The city has not been restored. Why? Because we're not there. Your gates will always be open. They will not be shut by day or by night, so that people can bring you, Jerusalem, wealth of nations, with their kings led in procession. Uh-oh. 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 See, what don't we have to worry about? What don't we have to worry about? What do we have to worry about? We don't have to worry about the nations, because the Most High said what? For the nations or kingdom that won't serve you, Jerusalem, will perish. Yes, those nations will be utterly destroyed. So now what don't you have to worry about? We talk about the nations. You don't have to worry about nations being with you that are outside this parameter. They'll perish. They will be utterly destroyed. The glory of Lebanon. Now, what we have to do here is we have to go back, text, and we have to look at Lebanon. And we have to see what Lebanon looked like when we were there. And when we were there, and when we were in harmony with the Most High. It says, the glory of Lebanon will come to you, cypress together with elm trees and larches, to beautify the site of my sanctuary. I will glorify the place where I stand. Jerusalem. Is that a better place? The children of your oppressors. Now, why the children? Why the children? Because the children are going to be here, but their fathers and forefathers are going to be dead, gone. Will come and bow low before you. All who despise you will fall at your feet, calling you the city of Yahweh, Zion of the set apart one of Israel. What's he talking about? He's talking about exalting your city. He's talking about exalting your temple. And he's talking about the fact that you and I ain't going to have nothing to worry about. No nation that's outside of the parameter that we just read is going to be in your city and in your land. None. I'm reading the text. I'm just trying to explain the text. None. Jerusalem. In the past, you were abandoned and hated, so that no one would even pass through you. But now I will make you the pride of the ages, a joy of many generations. You will drink the milk of the nations. You will nurse at royal breast and know that I, Yahweh, I am your Savior, your Redeemer, the mighty one of Yaakov. What's he saying, class? He's saying, Jerusalem, you are going to receive from the nations the wealth, the bounty, all that you need to nourish you. Jerusalem, you're going to receive that. And know, see, you know what I like about the Most High? You know what I like about him? You know what I like about him? He always signs off. He always signs off. The guy across the street says, don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. The Most High makes a proclamation and he signs it. I, Yahweh, am your Savior, your Redeemer, the mighty one of Israel. For what? Bronze will I bring to you, and gold. Iron I will bring you silver. For iron I will bring you silver. Now, watch this. Instead of a lesser type of metal, I'm going to bring you gold. Instead of iron, I'm going to bring you silver. I'm going to bring you bronze in place of wood, and iron in place of stones. Now, what are we talking about? What are you talking about? We're talking about where? Jerusalem. So what has to happen in the day of redemption? Jerusalem has to be restored, and it has to be rebuilt. And the Most High in chapter 60 is telling you how all that's going to take place. And I will make peace your governor and righteousness your taskmaster. Now, what he's saying here is the people that are going to oversee all this are going to be governors of peace and are going to be righteous people. So guess what you and I don't have to worry about? We don't have to worry about any embezzlement going on. Oh, let's get happy now. Let's get happy. Let's get happy. Let's get happy. Let's get happy. Get happy. What's that say? Violence will what? Will no longer be heard in your land, desolation or destruction within your borders. Instead, you will call your walls salvation and your gates praise. All praise to the mighty Yah. But wait a minute. All that happens within the view of Ezekiel and destruction of the nations that come against you in unwalled cities when you're living in Jerusalem in peace. All this happens. And he says to the nations in Ezekiel, paraphrasing a little bit, don't think that this is deja vu. Don't think that you can come in upon my people and create havoc and mayhem upon them. Don't think you can do that. Your eye sockets will melt in your head. You will drop dead right where you are, and it will take Hebrew Israel 7 months to clean up the stench of the death that I'm going to bring upon you when you think about creating violence in my city. Let me see. 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 Ezekiel. I'm not sure exactly where it is. I'm going to start at 21 and I'm going to see if I find it. I should have highlighted it. I'm going backwards here a little bit. I should have highlighted it, I'm not sure. Huh? No, I'm not sure. I can't find it right now, but you can find it. It's in Ezekiel, there somewhere. But anyway, in that particular book, he talks about the destruction of the nations that create violence against Israel. Now he says, violence will no longer be heard. So if violence is not going to be heard, it has to be after this issue with the nations that come against us in the land. No more. Oh my goodness. Come on, class, get excited. Get excited, come on. No more will the sun be your light by day, nor will moonlight shine on you. Instead, Yahweh will be your light forever, and your El, your glory. No longer. Uh-oh. Does that mean Rosh Hashanah is going to go away? No longer will the sun go down. Your moon will no longer wane, for Yahweh will be your light forever. Your days of mourning will end. Who's he talking about? Jerusalem. We ain't talking about gates of pearl. We ain't talking about streets of gold. We ain't talking about 12 foundations. We're talking about Jerusalem, the house where we're going to be. Uh-oh. Now, when we see this verse right here, we have to know that this verse right here is talking about when all of these things that have to happen in Jerusalem are over. The nations have been destroyed. Perfect shalom has been in the city. The people there have been purified by his word. And he says, all your people, Jerusalem, will be tzaddikim. What does tzaddikim mean? They will be righteous. All your people will be righteous. They will inherit the land. Come on, class. Come on. What does forever mean to the Most High? What does that forever mean with the Most High? They will inherit the land forever. They will be the branch I planted, my handiwork in which I take pride. The smallest of you will grow to 1,000. The weakest among you will become a mighty nation. I, Yahweh. Watch this now. Huh? Ezekiel 39 and 12. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, there I did highlight. I just didn't find that. Let's finish this and we'll go back to Ezekiel 39 and 12. The smallest of you will grow to 1,000, the weakest will become a mighty nation. I, Yahweh, when the right time comes, will quickly bring it about. You know what we should be praying for? You know what your prayer should entertain every day and every night? You know what it should be? Come on, you know what it should be? It's right there on the board. What should it be? Yahweh, let your right time come. Yahweh, that gives me chills. Let your right time come. Oh, I'd love to see it in my day. I really would. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you like to see? Wouldn't you like to feel the power and the influence of the Most High swooping you up and dropping you in the land? Wouldn't you like to feel that? But I got a better one for you. Got a better one for you. It's okay to be in the dust. Why? Because according to text, your soul will be revocated in the land just like I see you now. Can you fathom that in your mind? In the land. Wait a minute. In the land, communicating with each other in one language. Wait a minute. Come on, stay with me. Stay with me. And there not being the presence of the speaking of any other power. Torah will be in full bloom when the Most High said to us, when you are in the land of the nations, don't even mention the names of their elves. In the land, that ain't going to happen. Come on, class. What's the goal? What's the goal? Stay with me. What's the goal? And it will come quickly. Now, let's go back. Thank you for finding me. Ezekiel 39, and let's go to verse number 11. Let's back it up a little further from that, because let's see what the Ezekiel's saying. Let's go back to verse 6. This is in the land. Okay? This is in the land, and this is during the Messianic era. Okay? So everybody thinks we're going to the Messianic era and there ain't going to be no war. Yes, there is going to be war. Because the nations are going to act stupid. Okay? Starting at verse number 6. I will also send fire against Magog, those are the European nations, and against those living securely in the coastlands. Then they will know, I like it, he signed it, I am Yahweh. I will make my set-apart name known among my people Israel. I will not allow my set-apart name to be profaned any longer. Better shut your mouth. Then the Goyim will know that I am Yahweh, the set-apart one of Israel. Yes, this is coming. It will be done, says Yahweh Elohim. This is the day about which I have spoken. Those living in Israel's cities will go out and set fire to the weapons to use as fuel. The shields, the breastplates, the bows, the arrows, the clubs, the spears. They will use them for fire 7 years. So that they will not need to gather wood from the fields or cut down any from the forest, because they will use the weapons for fire. Thus, they will plunder those who plunder them and rob those who rob them, says Yahweh. You all want to say something with me? I want you to say this with me. I want you to open your mouth wide and say this with me, okay? I want you to say, when that day comes. Now let's go back to Isaiah for a minute before I read this. Isaiah speaks in 58 or 57. My word shall go out, and it shall not return to me void. It shall accomplish the purpose for which I sent it. What word? See, what word? The word that I have spoken to my prophets will go out, and it will perform the purpose for which it sent it, and it shall not return to me void. I will give Gog a place there in Israel for graves. The Traveler's Valley, east of the sea, and it will block the traveler's passage. There they will do what? Bury Gog and all his horde, and they will rename it the Valley of Hanan Gog. Now, who did I say Gog was? European nations. It's going to take us how long? What's the text say? Take us how long? It will take us, Israel, 7 months to bury them in order to cleanse the land. And yes, all the people of the land will be burying them. So we're going to be unclean for a period of time. And they will become famous. And guess what? You'll become famous for it. It will be a day for me to glorify, says Yahweh Elohim. Then they will pick men for the continual duty of going through the land and burying them with travelers and corpses still laying out on the ground in order to cleanse it. They will begin their search after 7 months. And as they go through the land, if anyone sees a human bone, he will put a marker next to it until the grave diggers have buried it in the valley of Haman Gog. What you think, y'all? What you think? Now, I want you to understand, as I've talked about the city, I want the city to arise, and I want it to understand that light has come upon it, and the glory of Yahweh has risen over it. What does that mean? Furthermore, it means at this point, when that happens, the land that lies desolate and fallow begins to come back into its flourished, posturing state, preparing itself for the rebuilding of the third temple, and the nations bringing gold and silver and stuff to do what? To flourish and to populate the land and the temple and the holy city. Now, isn't that a glorious report? Isn't that a better report than the other? What do I need to do in the interim? What do I need to do in the interim? I need to be sure. Now I'm going to quote from across the street because it's a good proverb. Make your calling and election sure. Make sure you're the chosen of the Most High. Guess what he's not going to tolerate in the land? Not going to tolerate no foolishness. He's not going to tolerate any action that doesn't reside with what it is he's asking us to do. So the central word that we need to have in our mind right now regarding these mitzvos is to do what? Obey. Moray Appleton and I've got 5 more chapters in this book to deal with, and I will conclude Isaiah chapter 40 to chapter 66. When we finish, we're going to circle back around, and we're going to go to the beginning, and we're going to read from the beginning. And as we read from the beginning, we're going to point out every mitzvot and every teaching that the Most High has spoken. We're going to highlight that. As we roam through all of this, we're going to hear things that are germane to culture and other aspects of Israel. But the most important thing that we have to give to you is his teachings and his mitzvot so that you will know them. What you're going to have to do, preparing you now, just bring your notebooks, you're going to have to write them down for yourself. How so? Well, let's go to Exodus 19 as I close. Let's go to 19. And I'll know the text when I get there because I'm not sure exactly where it starts. Starts in verse number 5. Number 5. Now, if you will pay careful attention to what I say, keep my covenant, then you will be my own treasure from among all the peoples, for all the earth is mine, and you will be a kingdom of corning for me, a nation set apart. Now, the text says, you will be a kohen for me. We talked about this earlier. We talked about how can they didn't come from the house of Levi. They're not. No, the Most High says, if you will keep my covenant, you will be my treasure among all the peoples of the earth, and you will be a kingdom of corning for me, a nation set apart. Let's break it up. Let's break that up. You will be a king with priestly authority. That's what it says. Now, what's the mitzvot for a king? What's the mitzvot for a king? Every king must write his own Torah. Now, let's go back to the closing words of Moshe when he finished his dissertation before he went to the mountain. Let's keep that one in mind. Moshe said to Israel, after he expressed all the words of this Torah, he said, now you write down all these words that I'm giving you. Now here's what the Ashkenazis do, okay, to meet this mitzvah. Here's what they do. There's a congregation in Davis. And a couple years ago, they had an anointing service because they had finished writing the scroll, the Torah scroll. They finished writing the scroll, and they proclaimed that to be Torah. He didn't ask them to do that. He didn't ask them to do that. He asked them to write down Torah. Now, you all should know by now what Torah is. Torah is not the culture. Torah is not the history. Torah is the laws, the rules, the mitzvot, the precepts, and the teachings of the Most High that are inside the books. That's Torah. He said, I want you to write those down. And I want you to teach them to your children so that they will know. So what we're going to do, Moray Appleton and myself, we're going to go back to the beginning, and we're going to start slicing these teachings up inside Torah, inside the books, so that you can see them. You said, I need to know these. I need to teach them because I'm hearing them all the time. See, he pops them off like popcorn because he's different from us. Oh no, he's very different from us. But when we finish, guess what you're going to have? You're going to have your Torah, like a king is supposed to have. Stay with us. Don't leave us. And then as we spin them off, we're going to talk about how do I apply these to my life. And being able to apply them to your life is called ownership. Guess what? You can't own anything until you know it. You can talk about it, but you don't own it. See, I can talk about something now. See? There have been people in our community who have talked a good game, but they didn't own it. And so consequently, they get caught up in the thoughts of their own mind. And we go to text, and the text says, you lay up on your bed at night, pursuing wickedness. Hey, I asked for this. I can't say I didn't ask for this. I asked for this. I asked for this because I asked the Most High when I knew I was going to have to be a leader of people. I asked him, Father, teach me your truth. Because truth matters. And here's what I don't want to do. I don't want you to sit in your chair, listen to me, and I'm leading you down a wrong path. I don't want that to be the case. This is not playground. This is real. This is real. This gets down to your soul. Your soul. I'm standing here being a voice to you in regard to your soul. I can't not afford to mess that up. I can't afford to mess it up. If in my mind, watch this now, if in my mind I slip, this will be my day. If I slip. I said, if I slip. Because I have to give an accounting to the one who has created us. And he has given me a responsibility and a charge. And I darn well sure better fulfill it. Or else you all will be attending my funeral. And watch this now. And the Most High will have deemed me as being wicked. You see the severity that we talk? Do you see the severity that we're dealing with here? Do you see the severity of which we're dealing with here? And with that severity that resides upon me, this is the reason why, Moray, I appreciate the young man in Atlanta. He presses upon his congregation the severity of their lifestyle in relationship to the mitzvot, so that you will hold yourself accountable. One last word and I'm going to close. I need to go to the gym. I don't have to go to the gym. I need to go to the gym. But I got a problem. When it gets too strenuous, on my own, I stop. Say, well, you're supposed to do 3 reps of 15. Yeah, man. I'm tired after the first rep. I ain't doing this no more. So I have to have a personal trainer to hold me accountable in order to do what I am supposed to do. And the Most High is saying to you and I am setting before you Kohanim and teachers to help hold you accountable, but you are also going to have to be accountable to yourself. Because the eyes of Yahweh go to and fro in the earth, and he sees and he hears and he reads the intents and thoughts of a person's heart and mind. And he says, I know, I try the reins of the heart, and I know the heart. I know what's in you already. I know what you're going to do before you even do it. I already know. But if you and I will hold ourselves accountable to his teaching, guess what? You'll be hearing these words. Arise, Hebrew Israel, for the light has come, and the glory of Yahweh is upon you. You'll hear those words. I don't know about you, but that's what I want to hear. I want to hear him say, I was I was upset with you all. No, I was angry. Now, I'm trying to close. I'm trying to finish this. I want you to take time and look up the meaning of anger and see how powerful anger is. And realize the Most High said, I was angry with you. But I shall not be angry with you anymore. And I shall not strike you anymore. And I shall not bring these calamities upon you anymore. That's where I want to be. That's where you want to be? Let's close. Yerekaka. Yahweh v'ishmaeleka. Ya'er Yahweh panav aleka b'kanuka. Yasawa Yahweh panav aleka b'yasham laka shalom. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine on you and show you, come on with it, favor. May Yahweh lift up his face toward you and give you shalom, peace. I don't know about you, but that's what I want. I want